What's going on, guys? You know, it's such a nice day. I thought I'd make this video outside here today. And I hope you guys don't mind. I'm gonna light a cigarette because this is my Avengers Endgame spoiler. I wouldn't say review because I'm not a critic. I don't know anything about filmmaking. This is basically me breaking down the movie and explaining what I liked about it. It's gonna be a lot of spoilers because I'm gonna talk about everything. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie and you're watching this video, back out now if you don't want to know any spoilers. I already got myself spoiled by YouTube because of people posting these leaked clips before the movie came out, and I got spoiled at Iron Man's death. Yeah, there's that spoiler for you. If you haven't seen the movie, now you know Iron Man dies. Yeah, I saw that. I was pretty pissed off. But I still went in that movie excited. I've watched all 22 movies of this, what do they call it? Infinity Saga. This is the greatest movie ever. And I'm not exaggerating that. This is the best movie I have ever seen. And it is my all-time favorite movie now. Where do I begin? Where do I begin in this insane, incredible storytelling and action and payoffs, everything that happened in this movie? Now, okay, first I'll start off by saying the things I didn't like about it, which is not much. I think the only thing that I really didn't like about it was that Hulk didn't have much of an action role. There was not much. You know, I wanted to see Hulk get his, like, full-on Thanos rematch. That didn't really happen. But that's okay with me, because they had Professor Hulk, which was... Professor Hulk... They cut away. Okay, so the movie opens. Right when Thanos snaps his fingers. But we're on Hawkeye's farm. He's there, they're having a picnic, and he's teaching his daughter how to shoot a bow. Everything's fine and dandy, and it's already a tearjerker. At the beginning of the movie, he's having fun with his family. His daughter disappears. What's happening? Hey, turns around. The rest of his family is completely gone. Nothing. He has no idea what just happened. It opens up just like that. Okay. And then we get that Marvel post-credit, basically. Captain Marvel shows up, they talk, we find Tony and Nebula on, I think, the Benatar, the Guardian of the Galaxy ship. They are stuck in space, and they're both MacGyver their way to save oxygen for another day or whatever. He sends out a message, and he's on the brink of death. He's sitting there. Nebula moves him to a much more comfortable spot. She thinks he's going to be dead. She wants him to be comfortable instead of laying on the ground. Which also I thought, it's a Benatar. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy ship. They're constantly in that ship. You'd think there'd be some kind of bunks or something in it, right? Not that big a deal. But, so we get that. He's about to go out. And he sees this big bright light. And he opens his eyes, and it's Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel saves Iron Man. She flies the entire ship back to the Avengers base. Okay? Pepper Potts, Captain America, Hulk, well, I guess it was Bruce Banner at the time. It's Bruce Banner. Black Widow. Basically, everybody is there and greet him. And, you know, cut to a little bit later. He is pissed off. He's mad. Tony is mad. And he straight calls... Captain America a fucking liar and tells him that he's completely wrong and we should have made that pseudo armor over the world. Ultron should have happened. Other than this wouldn't have happened. So he's pissed. He passes out because, you know, he malnourished, like, without a doubt. So, okay, get all that. Everybody, he's passed out. He's done for the count for the day. Captain Marvel, you know, let's just go get him. Let's just get him and take him out now. You know, based on Infinity War, you'd say, like, oh, it's that easy. Yeah, okay. Captain America says, yeah, just like that. Let's go get this son of a bitch. So they got this technology. They find out where he is in the gardens, is what Nebula called it. They go, and it's the first 10-15 minutes of the goddamn movie. They show up, Captain Marvel blasts through his little hut and puts him in a damn chokehold. Then you got everybody else comes in. They just walk up in there, lob off his arm, chop the whole gauntlet off and everything. And they're where are the stones? I already destroyed them. He destroyed the stones with the stones. So they're completely lost. They don't know what to do, and they think he's lying. Nebula says, my father is many things, but a liar he is not. And he starts to talk to her. He's like, I may have been too, and he didn't even get to finish his sentence. Thor took his head the fuck off. Whack! Took it off. Chopped his fucking head clean off. Now, that is the first 10-15 minutes. You're sitting there going, well, what the hell is supposed to happen throughout the rest of the movie? Okay? So they end up going back to base. We get Ant-Man, and you guys gotta cut me some slack here because I'm kind of bouncing around. I only saw it once. I just saw it last night. I've been watching them leaked clips now, but I enjoyed the movie so much that now I'm watching those leaked clips over and over and over because that was such a great fucking movie, and I know that you guys know which scenes I'm looking at. So we get ahead. Ant-Man. Okay, this is another point that I was kind of like, yeah, okay. A rat miraculously walks across the control panel and opens the quantum tunnel, and he pops out. Like, okay, yeah, you know, they got to find some way for him to get out. So a rat accidentally turns it on. Cool, whatever. You know, he's out. He gets his stuff. He's walking around. He has no clue what happened, and he has no clue that it's been 5 years. For him, he said it was only 5 hours. Now, he goes home and he's like, where, you know, and he bangs on his door, and his daughter Cassie is alive. She didn't get dusted. But it's been 5 years, so she's a teenager. She's a 16, 17-year-old teenager. And she breaks it down, tells him what happened. So he decides to go to the Avengers base. While they're sitting there figuring it out, you know, broken, basically. He shows up at the front door with a crazy theory that they can time travel. They can enter the quantum realm at one point in time and come out at a different point in time. And they're like, this is a crazy idea. You know, Black Widow, I get emails from a raccoon. You know, nothing's crazy. But obviously time travel is a big, crazy concept that you never think possible. So they decide to take it to Tony Stark. And we cut to Tony. He's living in a little cabin on a lake. Got a perfect, great life. He's got a daughter named Morgan. You guys remember Infinity War, his dream? We named him after your eccentric father, Morgan. Her name, he had a daughter named Morgan. And shows up, and she's wearing a blue Iron Man helmet. Immediately we go, what is that? And he says, your mom never likes the suits I get for her. Which, you know, funny. There's a lot of good comedy, but it's the right kind of comedy for this movie. It's not like, people had the rumor that Deadpool was going to be in this movie, and my wife just told me that Deadpool, she loves Deadpool, I love Deadpool, but she told me that Deadpool, if he had shown up, did a cameo in that movie, would have ruined that movie, would have ruined what it was and what it was standing for. Give me a break here for 1 second. Now, Tony's like, no, I don't want any of this. I don't want any... No, 5 years, I've gotten over it. I've come to grips. I have a family. I cannot lose this. So if you guys can stay for dinner, but we're not talking shop. You know, they say, no, all we want to talk about is shop. So, no, they decide to leave and go see Bruce Banner, a.k.a. Professor Hulk. That's when we meet Professor Hulk sitting in a diner eating massive amount of food and plain public, and people are seem to be okay with Hulk. Professor Hulk. You get kids come up asking him for selfies and stuff. That's awesome. Okay? The storytelling, this is a comic book movie. I can't even fathom how great this movie is because I've only seen it once, and you best believe I'm going to go see it again, and probably a third time. I don't care that it's 3 hours. It does not feel like 3 hours. They could have made a 6-hour movie and I would have sat through it. Now, Hulk's like that's some crazy shit, but he figures something out. We'll try this. They do a test run on Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man, and it just goes wrong. He turns into a baby. He turns into an old man, and he turns into a child, and then it doesn't work out. Tony Stark figures out time travel, and he must have been working on it because he figured it out. And he comes to Pepper at their house and says, "I figured it out." She's like, "Oh, well." And he's torn. He just throw it in the bottom of the lake and leave it there. Just forget about it. Be done. But, she says, "But can you rest? Can you rest knowing you had this opportunity? And if you gave it away, could you rest? Can you rest now knowing that you guys have all failed?" She gets to him. He decides. He shows up at the Avengers base. And first thing he says to Cap, I believe, is, let me guess, he turned into a baby. Like he knew what they were doing and that they would fail miserably. He has Cap's shield. Awesome. Cap gets a shield back. That was fucking amazing. So they've decided they figured it out. Now we need to figure out how, when, and what we're going to do. So they decide to fucking find the stones in time in different parts of their various films. So we get to go back into these other films. We go to the original Avengers movie. We go to the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I think that's about real well. We get a second time travel scene where they go farther back in time with Hank Pym and Howard Stark, and Tony gets to meet his dad. Tony gets to talk to his dad. He talks to him about being a father. And this is an emotional roller coaster. You are up, you're down, you're happy, you're sad, you're excited. There's so much going on. There's so much. Okay. Basically, this is the greatest movie of all time. That's all you need to know. But let's get a little bit more. Okay, they decide they get their suits. They're gonna go. They decide to branch out and let's start our time travel. And I'm sure I'm missing some stuff, guys. So give me a break. Like I said, I only saw it once. They get their time travel shit together. Boom. Okay, so we got Captain America, Ant-Man, Iron Man, and Hulk go back to the events of the original Avengers film. Okay. Hulk he goes to try and find Doctor Strange in New York during that time, but they had no clue that he had not yet become the Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange, but in fact was Dr. Stephen Strange, the surgeon. So Hulk ends up meeting the Ancient One, and she knows everything. She knows who he is. Boom, smacks him into the astral form. Boom, and it's Bruce Banner now, and he's trying to explain to her, look, we need these stones. I can bring it back. I can bring it back to the point that I took it from, so your timeline does not get messed up. She's still hesitant, and he said, why did Strange give it away then? Why did he give the time stone away if it is so precious? And she says, he's supposed to be the best one. Now, that being said, she realizes he must have done it for a reason. So she takes it. She gives it to him. Hulk has the time stone. Meanwhile, Tony, Captain, and Ant-Man are all trying to get the Soul Stone, the Tesseract. Now, that goes south. That completely goes south. Captain America runs into Captain America from the original Avengers film, and he has to fight himself, right? And then we get that funny, that is America's ass, it's just a little funny comedy. Like I said, it's perfect comedy for this movie. I completely forgot about Thor, man. We meet up Thor, we find Thor, and Thor is a fat, beer-bellied, fucking Lebowski-looking dude, and he's living with Korg and Meek and the 3 roommates living, and they're playing Fortnite on the TV. They're playing Fortnite, and it's just hilarious. But we get we get all that. We get Thor. Everybody's together. Everybody goes out and does their time travel. Everybody's got their missions. Thor and Rocket Raccoon go to the events of Thor: The Dark World to get the, oh man, I can't remember the name of the stuff, but it's one of the stones basically that Jane Foster had like ingested in Thor: The Dark World. And they had to go extract it from her. He ends up running into his mom, and she's like, "Look, I know who you are. I know you're Thor, but you're not my Thor." And she tells him, "No, you are still worthy." So while he's there, boom, sticks his arm out, poof, Mjolnir. He's got Mjolnir back. Which, I mean, if you're going to talk about the timeline, they should have returned it, because in that timeline, Mjolnir's just missing from Thor. He has no idea where it's gone. And, yeah, so, but that's just a little plot hole, whatever, who cares. They end up getting that, they get to come back, while War Machine and Nebula go to the events, the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy, when we have Star-Lord, Chris Pratt's character, "Hey, what's the matter with," dancing around, singing and stuff. And it's funny because then they cut off the music and it's just him wearing a headset, dancing and singing, and Don Cheadle, War Machine, so he's an idiot. Yeah, basically, he's a fucking idiot. So we get all that. Basically, they all get their stones. What happens with Nebula? Nebula's she's in the same timeline as her past self, and they're running on the same network. So apparently, Thanos can see her memories of the future Nebula. So they end up seeing Thanos getting his head lobbed off, and they're okay. So we'll just let them collect the stones and then take it from him. That makes it a whole lot easier. So that's where you find, okay, so 2014 past Thanos is the enemy, the villain of this movie. They killed the Thanos that won, but they still lost. So they've got these stones, and they get them back. Everybody comes back. Hawkeye, aka Ronan, except Ronan wasn't really, said. Nobody mentioned Ronan at all. It was just Hawkeye or Renner, or not Renner. It was Barton, and yeah. So, but anyway, they go back in time, and have to go to Vormir to get the Soul Stone. But they had no clue that they had to make a sacrifice in order to get the stone. So they end up whooping each other's ass, trying to fight over who's going to sacrifice, right? Hawkeye jumps first. He gets off that ledge and starts fucking falling. She grabs his ass and then grapples to the rocks, and she ends up sacrificing herself. Yes, that's right. Black Widow dies. I didn't expect that, because they're making a Black Widow movie. So I would never have thought that Black Widow would have been the one to go. So we get that the Hawkeye's character wakes up in the soul world, in the water like Thanos did. And he's got the stone, and he's not happy about it. That hurt a lot. They get back. Everybody's like, "Oh God, she's dead. We lost her." They get the stones put in an iron gun, like an Iron Man gauntlet made from the same technology that Iron Man uses. Hulk is the one that says he has to do it because he's so big, and he makes the joke that it's all gamma radiation. It's like, I was made to do this. He puts it on, and he snaps. And we're all wondering what happened, but see some birds chirping, Ant-Man standing there, and he's like, "Guys, I think it worked." But unbeknownst to them, that Nebula from 2014 had hitchhiked Thanos to their time. So Thanos is there at the Avengers base at present day, 5 years later, after his snap. And he rains hellfire down and just destroys that whole Avengers facility. We got War Machine, Hulk down underneath all this rubble trying to hold it up, while we got injured War Machine has to crawl out of his suit. And then we got Rocket, who is buried under rubble and is, I can't breathe. And Ant-Man, small as he is, hears him. He's on his way, and he goes. So, Thanos shows up. We get Thor just sitting there. We get Cap, Iron Man, and Thor. The three amigos go to fight him, and they start taking him on, and it doesn't do a whole lot. They keep trying and whatever. I know I'm missing a whole lot, but I'm gonna jump to my most favorite part of the entire film. Alright, so Thor's getting his ass kicked. Alright? He's getting his ass kicked. He calls Stormbreaker. Stormbreaker comes flying. Somehow Thanos catches it and starts pushing it down into Thor's chest. Thor is fighting, and they cut to Mjolnir. Alright? You see Thor's hammer just lift up off the ground. Everybody goes nuts. We know what the fuck. I thought Thor was calling it to him. Boom, he gets hit. Thanos gets hit from behind. They show you the hammer. Goes flying, and it goes flying past Thor and Thanos. And you're like, what the hell? Boom! Captain America holding Mjolnir. That was the greatest. That was the best scene in the entire fucking movie. Boom, he catches it and he looks and just shield in one hand, the hammer in the other. And then he starts swinging that motherfucker. Boom! And just whoops on Thanos' ass for a good minute. Of course, Thanos had enough of it. Mjolnir gets tossed over, and he just starts beating him with that sword. Breaks the shield in half. Calls his army down. Thanos' entire army is right there in front of the broken down Avengers facility. Iron Man's down for the count. Thor's down for the count. It's Cap. He stands up. I could do this all day. Tightens that broken shield, and it's awesome. It's just so intense. And then out of nowhere you hear radio chatter. It's Sam on your left, which is amazing callback to Captain America the Winter Soldier, when Sam's running laps and Captain America keeps running by him. On your left. He turns around, and there's one of Doctor Strange's portals opened up. And here comes, we got Okoye, Black Panther, and Shuri come walking out. And it's just this music. This music is so intense. And then out of nowhere, Falcon comes flying out. And you see Cap smile. And then it cuts to him flying through the sky. And all these different portals open up everywhere. The storytelling, this is straight up comic book movie. Like this scene right here, this was straight up something I could read on a page. Okay? And all of these portals open. You got fucking Doctor Strange comes down, you got the Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man swings in, and then you got all of Asgard, you've got all of Wakanda, and you've got all of the Guardians of the Galaxies, people from space. You got Yondu's old ship. You got all these people coming from all over the place. You got everybody, this giant army of all the Marvel Cinematic Universe's characters standing behind Captain America. Captain America turns around. Avengers! Chills every fucking time, even myself saying it. Chills. Boom! Pulls Mjolnir in this giant army, and he just assemble. Ah! Boom, big fight. Everybody goes to town on each other. Scarlet Witch gets up a hold of Thanos. She's about to rip him in half. And then he calls down Hellfire again, starts boom, blowing down on everybody. Oh my god, they're trying to get the Iron Infinity Gauntlet across, get it away as far as you can. We need to get it back in time. We got to get it to Scott Lang's van so we can get somebody in time to disperse them back to their normal times. God bless it. It's a lot. Give me a second here, guys. Alright. There's so much more I'm missing. I know it, and I'm sorry. But when all those people showed up through all these portals, that giant army of all our fucking heroes, Thanos looks terrified. You can see he's like, oh shit. So he's ready for a fight. He gets a fight. Then he's starting to get his ass whooped. He calls Hellfire down. They start firing all these missiles down upon him. Then all of a sudden they change direction and they're targeting something in the sky. What? Iron Man, Friday, what is that? Something just entered the atmosphere. Who but Captain Marvel? Boom! Boom! Just takes out Thanos' entire ship. He's like, oh crap. What the fuck am I gonna do? Okay, and he just starts getting his ass whipped by Thor and shit, and Captain America comes, or Captain Marvel, excuse me, comes in, and she's trying to, he's got a hold of the gauntlet now, and he's trying to put it on and use it, and they keep pulling it, and Captain Marvel's about to break his motherfucking fingers off. He rips the Power Stone off the gauntlet and like punches Captain Marvel with it, sends her ass flying. It's when Iron Man, he comes in and he tries to take it. Thanos tosses him aside, and Thanos with that stupid ass line, "I am inevitable." Nothing happened. He turns his hand over, all the stones are gone. And he cuts over to Tony Stark, and he's down on his knees. And it's so epic. You just see him standing there like this. And you can just see the stones crawling up his armor, forming into place. And he says, "Yeah, and I am Iron Man." Boom! Snaps. Wipes out all of Thanos' army. Thanos is sitting there like, oh shit. And he doesn't say a single word. He just sits down and accepts defeat. We won. But at a great cost. Because, like we've all learned, Thanos, when he snapped, fucking fried his shit. When Hulk snapped him, he got fried. Tony Stark is a mere human. He snapped those Infinity Stones and fucked himself up hard. He went completely catatonic, and it was emotional. There's a few moments in the movie you're crying, but Iron Man's death is definitely the biggest, because you get Spider-Man. We won, Mr. Stark, we won, and you know, Pepper Potts has to pull him off, and she's there, she knows what's happening, and she tells him, "We're gonna be okay. We are gonna be okay." And she tells him that he can rest, and he does. He dies right there, an honorable warrior's death. And you know, they have his funeral and everything, and they have everybody there: Nick Fury, Captain Marvel, Maria Hill, even the kid from Iron Man 3, the little kid that helped him when he was in his dad's garage or whatever, when he was trying to fix his suit. That kid showed up to Iron Man's funeral. 5 years, 7, whatever years it's been later. And so Iron Man's gone, Black Widow's gone. They cut away, they show you what everybody is going to be doing. You see Thor goes and joins the Asgardians of the galaxy, and they have the little fun banter about who's going to be in charge, and of course it's you. Thor brought a lot of the comedy just based on his Lebowski fat beer belly, Ray-Ban sunglasses and cut off gloves look. That, I mean, just hilarious, you know. But then you see, you know, Hulk, he's got this big brace on because his arm is all still messed up. What else happens at the end? Oh, and so Hulk, Sam Wilson, aka Falcon, and the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, are ready to send Cap back in time to disperse the stones in their proper timelines, where they took them from. So he goes, and Professor Hulk says for him it'll be as long as he needs. For us, it'll only be 5 seconds. Alright, bringing him back. 3, 2, 1. Nothing. What happened to Captain America? Bucky Barnes sees something. Sam, over there. So poetic, and the most fitting ending for Captain America. He walks over to this bench, and it's old, like 70, 80-year-old Steve Rogers. Just sitting on this bench. He stayed back in time and lived his life with Peggy Carter. He decided to stay and live that life that Tony told him to get. And it is beautiful. He hands over the shield to Sam, and you see him with a wedding ring. And you're like, oh my God. He got married. He lived a life. And and he passes the mantle down to Sam, and then they cut and show you his last dance. He has that dance with Peggy in their house, and it's fucking beautiful. This movie did everything that you wanted it to do and more. Everything they set up, they paid off. They even do little callbacks when Black Widow and Hawkeye are on a spaceship flying to Vormir. Hawkeye says, "We're a long way from Budapest." And if you remember from the first Avengers movie, Black Widow says, "It feels like Budapest all over again." And Captain, you and I remember Budapest very differently. I know I missed a whole lot, guys, but we got to cut it short here. We got to cut it down and end it there. Basically, if you haven't seen the movie and you decided to watch this spoiler video, you're definitely going to want to go watch it. For those of you that did see it, I am glad to have experienced that experience with all of you. And if we've all watched 22 films leading up to this, we've all become part of a family of fans. Okay? If you liked Iron Man, but you didn't like Thor: The Dark World, that's okay. Because you've obviously followed and kept through, and we've spanned 11 years to this moment of Endgame, to end the saga, the end of Thanos, the end of Iron Man and Black Widow, unfortunately, and not Captain America, because he's going to be reincarnated as Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon Captain America. Hopefully, we'll see. Just a beautiful, perfect movie. They couldn't have done anything better with this movie. It was by far the best movie I have ever seen, and I hope you guys feel the same way. Let me know in the comments, guys, what was your favorite moment from the movie? I know there's a lot of them. Mine is obviously when, it's a tie between Captain America wielding Mjolnir and all the heroes coming back through them portals with that intense music. It's like a combination of the first Avengers music and then like Infinity. It was amazing. All right. That's it for my review, guys. I just wanted you guys to know. I wanted to talk to somebody about it, and I wanted to talk to more fans, people that would enjoy hearing what I had to say. And, I'm going to be watching it again. Just say that, okay? And when I watch it again, maybe not, I'll do a short little clip, talk about specific parts in the movie. Other than that, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. It's such a beautiful day out here today. That's why I'm out here in the sun. Avengers Endgame. Tony Stark, we love you 3000.